Hello, everyone. I am here with my peer and very good friend, Deryl Sweeney, who, just as I, is an executive coach, is a leadership coach based in the US. And we had an idea together, and that idea was creating a video recording some wisdom and insights around the topic of finding your next ceiling in health. How to get to the next level in terms of health, vitality, energy, fitness, whatever that means to you. And from knowing Deryl, I know that he's passionate about this topic. He's committed in this topic. And I couldn't imagine anyone better than speaking to him about how to take health, fitness, and vitality to the next level. Welcome, Deryl.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks. Happy to be here. I'm looking forward to this conversation and finding out where it goes.
Yeah, this is really a almost spontaneous creation. And why don't we start in your like health and fitness journey? Because I know you're up to some big and very ambitious stuff. I think even now, you're in a process. Like what does fitness, health, and vitality mean to you? And
Yeah.
where are you coming from and where are you now in this?
So again, just the thoughts that showed up during kind of your opening, your introduction to this topic surprised me. And I think it's really interesting that here we are, you and I are leadership coaches, executive coaches, business coaches, right? We work with C-suite folks, we work with people leaders, we work with teams, and we're talking about health. And I think, I don't know about you, Johannes, but so many people, when they hear about how I coach or what I work with my clients on, are sometimes surprised that it's not all spreadsheets and strategies.
Hmm.
I think this topic is at the core of what we do. I think it's, if you want to build a great business, and we can't do that by ignoring these other parts of our lives. And I don't believe we can build, I believe we're always going to leave something on the table in business and leadership and what we accomplish professionally if we have a terrible marriage, right? If we're not working to create a really strong marriage, if our health is in the tank,
Hmm.
if we're not showing up powerfully for our kids, right? This idea that we can
Yeah.
show up powerfully in one area of our lives and totally turn off other areas of our lives, it's just not how I see the world.
Hmm.
You asked me a question about what is health and vitality, and in a lot of ways, you know what it is for me? It's representative of commitment. Commitment is an area of my life that has massively changed over the last few years. And I think it's ironic we're having this conversation because it's probably the area where I had the most judgment about myself, where I most disliked myself, where I was least proud of myself for a very, very long time. I was almost 300 pounds. Um, you know, when people would use words like athlete, I would say, I was once an athlete.
Hmm.
Um, and it was always something I wanted to be different. And I really struggled to figure out how. I had a lot of judgment, really harsh judgment. And it's really become an area where I now consider it a strength, where I have created results, where I've had to learn things. And this journey has taught me so much. So my health journey is about way more than what happens in the gym or what happens, the macros and what I eat. It's so much about my journey with myself, learning how to stop judging myself, learning how to see what's more true about myself, learning how to honor commitment, learning how to shift what is driving the decisions I make on a day-to-day basis,
Hmm.
learning to detach from feeling like there's so much in it. Um, so health just feels like for me a foundational piece of what it is to create a great, enjoyable, powerful experience of life.
Hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Health is wealth.
Yeah.
And you're right. We both coach leaders and we both do what I would call transformative coaching or transformational coaching. And the beauty of that is, I think, couple of different things, but one is definitely that you can look at one area of your life and see something about that, see something about the thinking that you have that you didn't even know was thinking, see something about the thinking that you were believing, or the habits that you have in your thinking, or the patterns or winning strategies. And you can see something about that, and that can have effects in all areas of your life. And so, just as you do, when I speak to my clients, I invite them to bring topics from all areas of their life. And more often than not, fitness and vitality is a big topic. And, there's a lot of, I'm too busy, to go to the gym or to exercise, or, I don't have time to do certain things, or a lot of excuses. And first of all, I think it's a beautiful topic in order to see something about how we're showing up in all of our areas of our life, and how that can then, for example, have a massive impact on how we're showing up as a leader at work.
Yeah.
The second thing is that, health, vitality, energy is so foundational, just as a cornerstone, piece towards even showing up powerfully and bringing high performance to our lives. And just to sprinkle in a bit of my personal, quite recent experience, is that I've always been fortunate that, I've always been thin, I don't know, like maybe, lucky metabolism or something like that. Uh, but I was never very athletic. And I just noticed over the last couple of months that I'm showing up much more powerfully in a lot of areas of my life, but not so much in fitness, especially. So I'm eating decently well, but I always had a lot of excuses about, for example, not building a fitness habit. And that has massively changed for me over the last 4 months, where I've established a habit of basically working out 5 to 6 times a week without error, in full consistency. And what that has shown to me was, the power of thinking, the power of erroneous thinking that had, created a lot of excuses for me in the past that seemed so real that I always thought, well, that's not possible for me. And now I've seen very powerfully for myself how that is possible. And it has just opened up my enthusiasm to bring this, from a different way of being to, clients and people I interact with. And this is also why I wanted to invite you, because I know
Yeah.
you've been on this journey for even longer. And I knew that together we could, powerfully talk about this and help out
Yeah,
insights.
that's really interesting. What changed for you? So what happened 4 months ago
Yeah.
that created this shift?
So for me, we shared the same coach, which is Ankush Jain, and he's been on a powerful
Mm.
fitness and body and health transformation. And really, at some point, I'm not sure if that's an English saying, like a penny drop for me, where I realized, you know, this guy has a kid, this guy has a wife, this guy has a very demanding job, and I could observe one of the most impactful transformations of someone I had ever seen in real time. And he became my Roger Bannister. Are you familiar with Roger Bannister?
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
4 Minute Mile.
Mm.
So for those who don't know it, Roger Bannister was the first person to run the 4 Minute Mile, which had always seemed impossible for the human physique. And once he did it, I think something like 16 people did it in the same year. And so I just saw a possibility for me that I had not seen before. And then my excuses fell away. Like I realized insightfully that what I thought were my excuses, like kids, marriage, busy job, I'm not a morning person, all that, were just that. They were just excuses. They were just made up. They were just, thoughts that I held as true. And once my thinking around that changed, it just became a question of, okay, so how? How
Yeah.
do I do it? Not, if.
Yeah. That's really, really strong. And I think it's fine. I can already see that this is going to be a powerful leadership conversation. But what you're speaking to, I think, is so powerful. It's so important in leadership, right? And that is, you're talking about how somebody that you learn from, somebody that you respect, modeled something for you.
Yeah.
You may not have even had a coaching session on it, but you observed how he was showing up in the world. And
Mm.
suddenly, this idea that anything he can do is available to me too. So why isn't it happening for me?
Yeah.
I would love to have this kind of result. I would love to create something like this in my life, but I've got all this story around I don't have time, or we're in different situations, or well, it's probably different over there in England. And you realize that it was just story and
Yeah.
it falls away. So I think as leaders, it's, Karan Rai, there's a beautiful distinction called caught versus taught that
Mm.
I know you've heard him talk about. And when he talked about the difference between being caught versus taught, it stuck with me. And because, like you, I'm a dad. I have a 7 and 9-year-old, so two boys. And I want to be a dad that is caught worthy. So that's actually a term that a client of mine and I developed in a coaching session. And don't think about it. I've already bought the URL, so I already own it. So if you're out there thinking, looking up caughtworthy.com right now, it's not available. Maybe it is in your country. But it's that's who I want to be. I want to be caught worthy, right? I don't want to be a dad who is always, I don't want to be do what I say, not what I do kind
Yeah.
of dad. And if we want to be the most powerful leaders we can be everywhere in our lives, we don't want to be do what I say, not what I do. And I don't know about you, but seeing that Kush is constantly creating a powerful marriage, that's the kind of coach I want.
Mm.
Seeing that Kush is constantly focused on his health, that's the kind of coach I want.
Yeah.
Right. And when I think about being the kind of coach or being the kind of leader that I would follow, that I can be most proud of, it is somebody that has their health in order, that is committed to creating power inside of their own health journey. So I think just modeling this is such a powerful piece to do for both our kids, for our spouses, for the people that work for us, for our direct reports, for the people who lead us. It's just a powerful thing. And the ironic thing is, if you ask Kush, this is the power of this idea of being caught worthy. He would tell you that at an immersion, he was in the room when we did a fitness challenge. And he said, that day I watched that you, Deryl, that Sachin, that Peter were able to outperform me to such an extent. And you all are all my clients. And he would tell you that it hit me like, here I am coaching these guys who are
Mm.
on these incredible health journeys. I better get my act in order. So he says, Deryl, you inspired me. And now
Mm.
the same guy that I inspired is inspiring me to continue to up level my own health journey.
Yeah, that's so true. The leadership aspect of it, the parenting aspect of it, the being a role model aspect of it. And I mean, for any leader who wants to show up powerfully, the energy aspect of having your act together, being able to bring the kind of focus that we want to bring to our work, to not have obstacles in the way, like the kind of back pain that I had and that I was just living with for a while, and that I thought was normal, right? That I thought was kind of normal for my age. And so many people are complaining about back pain because they're sitting so much, but sitting is the new normal. So what I love about this is, part of all the thinking, I often say to my clients, we always do what makes sense given the thinking that looks real to us. We always do what makes sense given the thinking that doesn't look like thinking. And so there's an aspect of that where we can look around and we can find enough evidence of why it's not possible for us, or why we don't have to do that. But we can also distinguish that thinking. We can realize that thinking for what it is, which allows us to move beyond this thinking and to reach the ceiling that then becomes our new floor. And so I really wanted to basically take this opportunity of talking to you also to deepen these understandings for me, because I know there are many areas in my life where, I have thinking that looks real to me and that doesn't allow me to go to the next level. And the more I go to these next levels, including my fitness now, that allows me to speak much more powerfully to my clients about reaching next levels and reaching next levels in fitness. And for all my clients who are leaders, that will be the same thing for their teams in areas beyond fitness, and, also a lot of times for their kids at home. And I mean, now that you use the caught versus taught distinction, what really comes to mind is also moving from, in my case, like from a victim mentality to an ownership mentality. Like when I realized what was going on, I stopped being the victim of my circumstances and my biorhythm that is not the morning type, and my family situation and all that. And I moved towards, taking ownership of the topic. And I love what came to mind for me when I thought about this recording before, like what made a difference for me specifically in building my fitness habit. It was doing the doable.
Mm.
It was finding after it became possible for me, then it became a matter of finding the thing that was doable for me. And I still would say I'm not a morning person. I still don't get up really early. I still have kids at home in the morning. So I found the thing that was possible for me, which in my case is working out at home, doing body weight exercises, finding a time window that is efficient and effective for me. And it is so doable that I know I don't have an excuse to show up. Even I was just, skiing for a week. And even then, I did it 5 times a week in the morning before a full day of skiing because it's so doable the way I do it.
Yeah. Can I speak to that for a moment?
Please.
Because and this is brand new for me. The beautiful thing about the health journey is it just keeps revealing new things, new things, new things. And I agree, I deeply agree with you that this doing the doable piece of letting go of any image of what it should look like or what it has to look like, but finding a way to start to move to action. I acknowledge you before you started recording that you inspire me because you have this bias for action. Right? I've seen you over and over and over again in our relationship have an idea and move to action. And it sounds like this step into your health is another place that you've done that. And I love that. I think there's something even beyond doing the doable. And I think that doing the doable is a great place to start. But I've learned something recently about the doable, and it shocked me. So my health journey now, so I started a new program this year. So I'm a client of a group called KMAC Fitness, and they're helping me. Really, I got with them because in 2023, I really dialed in my fitness, like getting to the gym. Right. I am just a guy who doesn't miss workouts now. I've built that muscle, I've built that routine. Right. It's now a habit. I don't think about whether I'm going to the gym or not. It's just what I do. And that's great. But my nutrition wasn't at that same level. So I thought, let me go and see if I can get a powerful partner to walk with me as I really dial in the nutrition the same way. Because if I can combine what's going on in the gym and with my fitness and with my movement with nutrition, man, it's game over. And so it's been interesting because even though like they've come up with a health plan and a nutrition plan, but they've also given me workouts. So they've
Mm.
changed my fitness plan. So all new workouts, new way of going about it. And my attitude in this is to just be a beginner. I committed at the beginning of the year that I was going to let go of everything I think I know. Well, I know that my body doesn't respond well to carbs. Well, I know that I have to do this or have to do like let it go and trust the process and test it for 4 months. So I made a 4 month commitment to these guys. And in the first month, right, we go into the gym. They give me these are the exercises you're going to do. So that I don't decide. They tell me what the exercises are going to be. But they don't know what I can and can't lift. So I choose what pair of dumbbells I'm going to grab, what barbell, what plates I'm going to put on the rack, right?
Mm.
What I'm going to do on the machine. And because this is virtual, they have me record video of me doing these sets and send them to them. And then I get feedback back. And the
Mm.
feedback I would get every single time is, man, you're moving that, dude. It's moving like butter. We're going up 5 pounds. We're going up 10 pounds. We're going up. We're going up. We're going up. And I'm hitting personal best, personal best, personal best. And one of the realizations that I had was without hesitation, my trainer is like, dude, you've got that. You move that so easily. Like we're going up 10 pounds, we're going up 20 pounds. why didn't I already go up 20 pounds? Why did I grab
Mm,
Johannes in January? And I know the weights may be different. You all may be on kilos, or other places, people who's listening to this may be on kilos or something else. We're on pounds. I would grab a 50-pound dumbbell or a 60-pound dumbbell, and I was throwing that around. Well, less than a month later, now I'm grabbing 80-pound dumbbells. Like I had to go to a new gym because I needed heavier dumbbells that the gym I was at had. Now, I didn't get that much stronger in a month. It's just what I believed was doable for me. I was so underestimating what I was capable of that I
mm,
never even thought to try. But yet this trainer is like I have this attitude, I have this thinking that anything he tells me to do, like I'm going to go crush it. And so I just
mm,
keep going up, 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 up. But it's almost like I needed somebody else to be like, by the way, you can do that, right? And I was like, oh, it never crossed my mind.
mm,
So I'm really waking up to how the gym is a place where I have just significantly underestimated what I'm capable of. And I'm really appreciative to Michael and the guys at KMAC because they're not buying into my BS stories about what I can and can't do.
mm,
They're challenging me, and I'm meeting that challenge each and every time. And it's speeding up my growth, speeding up my acceleration.
mm,
Now, again, we talked about how this is tied to leadership. Where else in my life, right? Where else in your life are we walking around significantly underestimating what we're capable of? And how different might the results we create in our businesses with our clients? What different kinds of results are available to the leaders we work with, right? The leaders, people that may be watching this, right? Husbands, wives, parents, all what results are available to us if we wake up to what we're really capable of and stop underestimating ourselves the same way I was in the gym.
mm,
So just you triggered that when you mentioned doing the doable is I've had this new insight
mm,
of how natural it is for me to underestimate what I'm really capable of. And I'm starting to tear the lid off of this thing everywhere.
mm. I really love that. And I think it also speaks to something else, riffing on what you just said, which is that I think we often ask ourselves a, well, disempowering question is a strong word, but when we're trying to improve something, we often ask ourselves, how can I do that? And what I found recently, and this is not my distinction, this is from another coach, is that the more empowering question may be, who can help me do that?
Hmm.
Because we can't be experts on everything in our lives.
Yeah.
And someone like KMAC for you, that's a who. Like, who
Hmm.
can help me get to the next level?
Yeah.
And those who's, those uniquely qualified who's, they help you, see those new limits for you. See that you could do much more that might have taken you longer, or maybe you wouldn't even found it at all. The same way that I was basically, I said it was a matter of how do I do this now that it's possible for me. But I also basically found a guy, Mark Lauren, who's a body weight expert, and his program. So he's my who that helped me find
Yeah.
something that fits into my window in the morning right now. And
Yeah.
I think that's a typical leadership limitation as well, that people who are often very smart, very accomplished, very successful, think they have to do everything by themselves. And so they're asking the question, okay, how can I do XYZ? Whereas the more empowering question in this case may be, who can help me go to the next level?
Yeah, another way that I see this play out for leaders, exactly what you're pointing to, is what does it say about me if I need help with that?
Mm,
So they're unwilling to go get help. Right? What does it say about me if I need help in finance? Right? I'm supposed to be the CEO. I should know these things. What does it say about me if I need
yeah.
help in fitness, or if I need a coach or a therapist? Like there can be a reluctance
Mm,
because we've spun up this story that I should know this stuff, or I should be able to do this on my own.
yeah.
Right? And to your point, there are people that the guys we're talking to, they've studied nutrition. They understand macros. They understand how to fuel the body. They've studied this such depth right? They have mastery around these things, and we have access to that mastery. Could we go learn it all? Yes, but why would we?
Mm.
I'm developing mastery around coaching. I'm developing mastery around being a husband to my incredible wife. I'm developing mastery on being an incredible father to my awesome, awesome kids. Like, that's where my time is going. I can outsource health mastery
Yeah.
and bring a powerful partner to walk with me. It's a great point on your part.
Yeah. Now I'm seeing that we've already spoken a bit, but one question I cannot not ask you is what's the role of being in all of this?
Mm-hmm. I mean, who we're being is everything, Johannes. And I really, really mean that. Like, I'm seeing this so much clearer than I used to, that who we're being is everything. And what I mean by that is, and you pointed to this earlier, this idea that, well, who we're being with our health, chances are we're being that same person other places in our lives. And we've heard the phrase, who we're being anywhere is who we're being everywhere. The ironic thing is my health journey really took a turn because of an insight around who I was being in my business.
Mm.
And you've heard the story before, but I'll share it again here. And that is that there was a point where my business was growing. I had hired Ankush as my coach. We were about 6 months in, and I was really happy with the progress. I really was. I had put systems in place. I knew how I was creating clients. Like, it was going well. And I felt like it should be going faster. I felt like I should be further along on that journey. And when I brought this to him, he pointed to a shift that I would have to make. He said, Deryl, faster is available to you. So these other results you want to achieve, they're available to you, but you have to shift who you're being. And because I pay the guy a lot of money, I can ask really dumb questions. And I'm like, okay, I hear you, but I don't want to guess what the shift is. Like, tell me the shift. Like lay it out for me, make it clear. And he said, well, you have to stop treating your business like a glorified hobby and start treating it like a business. And everybody I've shared with this, that can mean different things to different people. What it meant for me was that I had to stop. I knew how to create conversations. I knew how to create clients. I knew how to create revenue. But in so many ways, I was only doing those things when I felt like it. If I woke up in the morning and I wanted to make some calls, I would make some calls. If I didn't, I would find something else to do. If I woke up and felt like I wanted to record a video or put something out on social media, then I would. If I didn't feel like it, I just didn't do it. And so what we did was we said, well, what if how we feel in the moment just doesn't matter? What if the thing that determines what we do in a day comes from the commitment we've made? Deryl, you said you're committed to building this kind of business. Well, what if that commitment drove your actions and how you showed up rather than you feel like it or not?
Mm.
And that shifted everything for me. Like, it literally shifted everything for me. I made a commitment to start creating, a certain number of calls each and every week. And then I hit that consistently. It didn't matter if I felt like it or not. I just did the things that were required of me to create the result. And what came from that is I woke up one day and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going on everywhere in my life. This is who I'm being everywhere in my life.
Mm.
Come up with these grandiose plans. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, or I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week, or I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to follow this nutrition plan. And I would, right up until the moment I didn't feel like it anymore. Right up until the moment I was too tired. And, my body really needs sleep. So I'm going to stay in bed this morning. You
Mm.
know, I know I'm eating healthy, but in this moment, we're at this business event. There's this incredible appetizer spread, and that really looks good. So my feeling right now is that I really want to eat that thing. Right?
Mm.
My actions were being driven by how I felt in the moment. So when you slow down and think about that, no wonder my results were all over the place,
Mm.
because how I feel in the moment is all over the place. It's impermanent. It's always changing.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm only going to the gym, or if I'm only eating healthy in the moments I feel like it, and I'm not when I'm not, then I'm not going to produce the consistent action to create the result.
Mm.
So when I saw that same shift I'd made in my business was available in my health, everything changed. When I became a guy whose actions were driven by the commitment I've made to my health, the commitment I made to go to the gym X number of times a week or to eat a certain way,
Mm,
instead of whether I felt like or didn't feel like it, my health started to shift. I got stronger. I lost weight, right? My body changed because I just started to separate my actions and my feelings. I stopped taking how I felt in the moment or the thinking I had in the moment all that seriously. It just stopped mattering as much to me whether I wanted to go to the gym or not. And this showed up in my marriage. It stopped mattering to me whether I felt like being a jerk to my wife or not, or I was in a bad mood, or I was too tired for no, I have a commitment to be extraordinary, to create excellence there.
mm,
So what does that ask of me? What does that require of me? So as one of the biggest shifts, the gift of seeing all this, the gift of being in health is that I stopped being a guy driven by his action or driven by his feeling in the moment. And I started being a guy driven by the commitments that I made in my life, the things that I decided were important to me, the results that I wanted to create. And
mm,
then I simply started being a guy who did the things required to create that result.
mm.
And that's all about who I'm being.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think it really speaks to that being is a choice, right? We can make this really complicated, going back to the all the excuses that I had, and I, can think about my biorhythm or my past or, all sorts of things. But simply and profoundly, it's a choice. Like our stance, our come from, our
Yeah.
being is a choice. And we can choose to, for example, go on a health and vitality journey. We can choose to be the kind of person who is devoted to growing the strength and vitality of mind and body. And it's really simply that it's a choice.
Yeah.
And that's available to everyone, which I think is the fundamental message of this video.
Yeah, it really is. So I know that you are familiar with the 75 hard challenge, right? So it's something I took on last year. So I'm in the middle of it right now. I think I'm on day 23. And I love what, when I first signed up for it, I got this email and I love what the email pointed to because it said, and I think this is true for all of us, right? If you talk about, if the people watching this are going to go on their own health journey, their own fitness journey, I think it's really tempting to see making a commitment around your health, making a commitment around working out, making a commitment around the way you eat as a physical journey. This is a physical challenge. I'm going to challenge myself to work out regularly. I'm going to challenge myself to eat a certain. What I loved about this email around the 75 hard challenge was he said, most people see this as a physical challenge. It's not. This is a mental toughness challenge.
Mhm.
This is you're going to have thinking that why don't I just quit? You're going to have thinking around why don't I not go to the gym? You're going to have thinking around it's not a big deal if I just eat pizza on a Thursday afternoon just this once and I'll get back at it. You're going to have all of this thinking that's going to show up that could sabotage you, that is slowing you down from reaching the goals that you set for yourself. And this challenge is really about being able to see that thinking, see those things that are getting in your way. And to your point, it's exactly what you said, Johannes. Consciously decide, okay, this thinking looks real to me. Is it? Right? This thinking looks like it will serve me. Does it? Right? Who am I going to be in this moment?
Mhm.
Am I going to be discipline? Am I going to be commitment? Am I going to be integrity? Am I going to be the guy who's going to go create this outcome? Or am I not? And the choice is mine. And through these challenges, through your health journey, through anybody who's watching the decisions they make around their health, they're going to be asked, they're going to be required, they're going to be invited to make these decisions over and over and over again. This is the rep. This is the gym. Our life is the gym.
Yeah.
And all of this, everything we're talking about is a mental toughness challenge. And that the doing, the lifting the weight, the running the mile, the eating the salad, those, that's the byproduct. The doing flows from who we're being.
Yeah.
And so this is really about shifting who we're being to create the kind of results we want to create.
Beautiful. I could not have said that better. And this conversation has gone way beyond my expectations because I'm realizing I want to watch that back because there's been so much, gold and jewels in this conversation and a couple of things that you reminded me of that I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Like I want to dig deeper into that again. Thank you so much, Daryl. This has been wonderful, and I know this will help people, this will nudge people, this will serve people. And I'm looking forward to more of that in the future with you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for doing this. This was fun.